100% steeze and composure is what you get every single day on TMI Socials, where you are abreast with the latest trends on social media. Always a pleasure to have you there. My name is Nuoluwapo Stevens, your social media butterfly. Now, here are my 5 trending stories from yesterday. Now, let's kickstart with the Senate President, who has been trending back to back on socials. Well, this time around, Senate President Godswill Akpabio has announced that the newly minimum wage, that's the newly approved minimum wage, applies to all workers across both public and private sectors, he says, including maids and other domestic staff. Now, Akpabio stated this during the plenary session on Tuesday. The bill was speedily passed by both chambers of the National Assembly just after it was transmitted by the President of the Federation. Now, in his remarks, he says, even your tailors, you're supposed to pay them 70,000 naira. Your drivers ought to be paid the new approved minimum wage. Take a listen to what he said.
He says that if you're a tailor and you employ additional hand, you cannot pay the person below 70,000. If you're a mother and you have a newborn child and you want to bring in a housemaid to look after your child, you cannot pay that housemaid below 70,000. It is not maximum wage. It applies to all and sundry. If you bring in a driver, if you bring in a gate man, you cannot pay that gate man below 70,000. So I'm very delighted that this has been passed, and we now look forward to employers of labor.
Now, I'm sure Nigerian workers would truly love this one. I mean, it's not maximum wage, it's minimum wage. Anyway, let's see your reaction so far on socials. This user, Ayo, says, how will small business owners be able to afford 70,000 naira? Godswill Akpabio thinks every Nigerians are making money through corruption. Yay. Now, another thought on this person trying to educate, Sudin says, Section 4B of the National Minimum Wage Act of 2019 explains that the minimum wage does not apply to an establishment that has less than 25 persons, workers in a seasonal employment like agriculture. So, I don't know where Akpabio is getting his own. Maybe the Amendment Act of 2024. That's what this guy is saying. Other thoughts, this one says, make I go show my yoga, sharp. I know of one worker right now is super excited about this news. Anyway, Ray Money says, laugh out loud, do you get what they are trying to do? You requested for an increase, then all staffs should get it. I mean, what are you trying to say there? Anyway, we'll keep you up to speed, of course, with the latest of trending development on this particular one. But away from that now, in the meantime, the Senate and House of Representatives have embarked on their annual break, their annual recess. Now, the lawmakers are expected to resume for plenary on September 7th, 2024. So this development occurred after some crucial bills were passed by the lawmakers. Now, let's see how this met netizens on the streets of socials. Lord Zammer says 7 weeks for a recess. During this difficult time, Nigeria should just create her own world. Whatever that means, right? Another thought on this, sister says, they have the right to go on recess, but the timing is bad. That's what she is saying. Still in this debate, let's see what you have. Checkmate is saying, they are running away. It's not a recess. Czech international flight has been booked since last week. They will japa this weekend. They are anticipating the protest is targeted at them. To the contrary, people are saying peaceful protest. Members want to japa and leave Nigeria for Una. Okay, anyway, so still on the protest, the hashtag and Bad Governance 2024 protest that's going to be on hopefully by this time next week. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, on Wednesday met with the ministers on the proposed nationwide protest against economic hardship by Nigerian youth. Now, the meeting was convened behind closed doors and has over 40 ministers in the president's cabinet in attendance. So whilst that was happening yesterday morning, similarly in the same vein at night, the governors from the 36 states of the federation were also caught, convened in Abuja, the nation's capital. And of course, the agenda of the meeting, wasn't made known to the public. But let's take a look at how you reacted to this one. And yes, as regards the hashtag, if we could go back to that clip, as regards the hashtag End Bad Governance in Nigeria coming up August 1st, 2024, here are some of the demands, the protesters are clamoring for, which actually they want. Anyway, moving over to your thoughts on this bit. Let's see. This user says, be like they no expect protests to gather momentum this quick. They should propose feasible solutions to the problems on ground so citizens can stop the planned protests. Okay, another thought on this one. Ike is saying, hungry Nigerians in Lagos and Abuja should take their beds and go sleep at the airport. So when the protests start, they proceed to sleeping on the runways. No corrupt politician is leaving. I mean, we all die here together. That's what this guy's trying to say. But anyway, officially, Chibuza says Nigerians didn't know the power they had until now. No politician is bigger than the people. That is what this user is saying. Is that all we have on this bit? Okay, finally on the story, this guy says, the most effective thing that can be done is to reduce the price of fuel. After doing that, whoever still talks about protest, then we can come to a conclusion that such person has an hidden agenda as regards this particular one. Okay, well, still on this protest, I mean, it has generated a lot of reactions. A lot of persons have been talking about it shockingly, but here in Edo State, the Oba of Benin, Oba Ewuare II, has appealed to Nigerians to postpone the protests and give the federal government more time, he says. So the monarch made a call in a statement yesterday by his chief press secretary. He also asked the federal government to speed up efforts in implementing its economic policies to ease the current hardship faced by Nigerians. Can we have the press statement that was released yesterday? Would appreciate that as we move over to reaction. Yes, so that was what was released yesterday from the Oba of Benin Palace. Now let's move over to your thoughts on the story. Shag Money says, Oba of Benin is like, you people don't get it. Things are expensive in the markets and the price keep going up. Prices of drugs are expensive. The economy is on life support. People barely eat balanced diets. And you're telling us to shelve the protest. No, Oba, no. That's what he's saying. Another take on the story. Lucky Man says, I swear, I will keep laughing at the gullibility of some Nigerians. This was same Buhari script. Give him time. Be patient. Meanwhile, some individuals are cashing out at the detriment of the ordinary citizens. All right, another reaction on this. This user says the protest will not solve anything rather than escalating the situation to be worse. We know the begging, but we don't know. Okay, we know the beginning. That's what he's trying to say. We know the beginning, but we don't know what will end. Please, we should forget about this protest. Let's pray for our leaders and for the betterment of Nigeria. I mean, because Nigeria is our own. Me trying to wrap up what he said there. Now, speaking about the protest not working and everything, here is a video from the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Ebetoku, talking about the protest. Take a listen.
It's important I address an issue of urgent national importance, which appears to have gained some momentum, particularly on the social media in the past few weeks. Some groups of people, self-appointed crusaders and influencers, have been strategizing and mobilizing potential protesters to unleash terror in the land under the guise of replicating the recent Kenya protest, the Beko. While the force acknowledges the right to peaceful protest as enshrined in our constitution, we must ensure that these protests do not snowball into violence or disorder. As a nation, we have...
Well, we can only hope and pray for the best, but it seems to me that Nigerians, especially on social media, netizens are not going back as regards this hashtag End Bad Governance protest. Now, finally, my final trendy story for today would be from our very own Dangote, who has been in the news for a while now. Well, what would you do if you go, eventually you make it down to heaven, and then on Judgment Day, God is asking you what's going on and all of that. Anyway, so here is the backdrop to this story. Aliko Dangote, in a video that's gone viral, was caught saying, he says, and I quote, "On Judgment Day, God will say, where are those entrepreneurs from Nigeria? And once we raise our hands, he will say, okay, you cannot be punished twice. Go to heaven." I mean, just like that. So simply because you do business in Nigeria, you're free to go to heaven. Anyway, take a listen to what he said.
Say, even to the government, I said that on the Judgment Day,
yes,
God will say, okay, fine, why are those entrepreneurs from Nigeria? Once we raise our hands, it's okay, you cannot be punished twice. Go to heaven.
So basically what he's saying is, I mean, according to him, living in Nigeria or doing business in Nigeria, it's hell alone. So you cannot just afford to go to hell twice. I don't know. Anyway, let's see your thoughts on this bit. This user says, country turn a whole Africa richest man to comedian. Laugh out loud. I mean, Dangote giving us jokes and steez, whatever. Anyway, Sunday says, since I was born, I have never seen Dangote cry on screen back to back for 20 years plus now. I mean, he has been crying on TV for a week now. We should all cry with him. Like, okay, but anyway, I don't think he's just crying alone though. Now, this user says Nigeria's economy has turned Dangote to cracking jokes. Laugh out loud. Our very own Africa richest man. I mean, who does that? Well, finally on this beat, Mickey D says, economy that will make billionaire to start considering afterlife. Poor man own don't finish. Oh well, we can only imagine and pray and honestly hope for the best. But let's hope that things, eventually get better. Thank you so much for joining me today on TMI Socials. My name is Anu Oluwapo Stevens. I'll see you next week.